Okay, so probably the most common message I get from creators on my Instagram is, Marcus, I've been doing OF for X amount of time. I'm just not getting enough fans and subscribers onto the account. I'm going to create this one video that'll explain exactly why you most likely aren't getting loads of subscribers and new fans to the page. So whether you're an OnlyFans model or you're an actual agency owner, make sure you pay attention to this video and you take notes, because this is going to be one of the most valuable videos I've created on YouTube to date. Now, you watching this right now, think one person in your head who you believe to be the greatest at whatever they do. It can be an actor, an athlete, it can literally be anybody in any niche, any kind of industry, but just think of one person who you believe to be the greatest of all time within that thing. Now, realize how long has he or she been doing that thing for? Look, it probably isn't a couple of months or a couple of years. It's most likely a decade or two. Do you understand how long of a time that is? And not only have they been doing it for that amount of time, the key here is consistency. They've been doing that one thing really well over a long period of time. And that comes with consistency. And it's the same thing with most of you ladies or men who are trying to build this. It's just inconsistent. Look, I think a lot of people, they start because they want to make a bit of cash, or maybe they have a large audience and they want to monetize it, etc., and speak with their fans on a more one-to-one basis. And that's a lot of the times kind of one of those two. That's why you start. And then eventually, within a couple of months' time, if you do it right, if you do it the right way, how we teach you, you're going to start making a lot of money. I'm talking 50, 60, 70,000 a month, if you really do this correctly. And once the money starts coming in, you then get a little bit complacent. It's natural. We all as humans, we do, right? You desire that one thing, you finally achieve it, and it's like, well, what do I do now? And that's where consistency dips, because you all of a sudden you work so hard consistently to a period of time where you finally achieve that thing, and now you're at this level, you can kind of feel like you can just kind of backpedal, relax a little bit. And that's the wrong thing you can do, because that's when your competitors, somebody else who is also very consistent, is making the same amount of money, but he or she will stay consistent and completely overtake you. So consistency across board of anything is the most important thing. Now, when it comes to OF specifically, of course, consistency in terms of content, and then also in terms of chatting and speaking with your fans, that's the key. So if you, for example, create one TikTok a day or 3 a day, it doesn't matter how many you do, but then you get to a certain level and you think, yeah, I'm doing pretty well this month, let me just take this cash and go on a holiday, etc. By all means, I'm not saying that you just have to sit at home and just do this 24/7. Of course, have a break, etc. But even, for example, if we're using this example as a break, before you go on that holiday, before you go and do whatever you want to take a week off, whatever, etc. If you're a creator, you need to make sure you have backlogged a bunch of content. If you're working with an agency, you need to let know of the agency, look, I'm going to be taking a week off here, but before I leave, I'm going to create this amount of X amount of content that you're able to publish on social media and OF, so it looks like I'm still there at home. So then the second thing we're kind of touching on here already is the content, right? So it's consistency, but consistency of content plus the chatting. That's the key, right? Now let's talk about the content aspect of it. So when it comes to content, quality really does matter, but let me explain. When I say quality matters, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to have like some crazy $10,000 camera, this whole crazy lighting rig, and so on and so on. To an extent, for certain shoots, yes, that does help and so on. But quality means so many different things. Like lighting is one. So lighting doesn't have to cost a lot, but you need to make sure that you're taking photos and videos in the right lighting. If it's too dark, the pixels might be like really grainy, the photo, they might not be able to see what's going on. Audio is super important as well, making sure you have either a microphone or you're just not in a very loud area where they can't hear you, etc. So quality in that sense, because also, again, if perhaps you're a brand new creator or a new agency owner, I think a lot of people have this conception, this idea that, okay, if I want to do OF or OFM, I need to organize loads of shoots, like professional studio shoots with the right background, the lighting, etc. Like I said, in some instances, if you're doing like a specific shoot for like Halloween or whatever, then sure, one off, that's fine. But most of the time, the content that is just produced on this thing, just your phone, actually works a lot better, because again, the whole idea of OF, isn't the whole idea, but one of the main reasons why OF works and why people come back and they subscribe and they pay is because it's natural. You're just there. The model might take a photo, video at home with a phone, and it's very immersive, right? Whereas if you are at a studio and it's professional camera, lighting, etc., there isn't necessarily that connection, and you might not be able to build rapport with a fan as well as if you could have just got your phone out, boom, taken a photo. But again, if we're talking about phones, make sure you have perhaps one of the newest phones or anything above like an 11 Pro Max and above. The quality is good. If you're using like an iPhone 5, the quality might not be there, right? It's not the end of the world, but trust me, you need to pay attention to more so the lighting. If it's a video, then the audio, so make sure there's no crazy background noise, and making sure the quality is top tier. Now, just before we move on to the next part as well, whilst we're talking about content, what I just said there is mainly about the not safe for work content, so the OF side of things, right? When it comes to the social media marketing side of it, again, if you're an OnlyFans creator, your agency should teach you and manage kind of aspects of this. But when it comes to social media, you need to remember the most important thing ever, which is attention. Right? So all social media platforms, no matter which one you look at, all they actually care about is your attention. How long are you on the platform for? Because I mean, look, if you start to think about it, all these platforms are free, right? So, well, nothing in life is ever actually free. There is always something that you're paying, and you're paying with your attention. Even with this YouTube video, right? I appreciate that you're watching it, and yes, these YouTube videos are technically free. You don't have to pay me anything, but the fact that you're watching my videos, that helps me grow, and so on and so on, right? With these social media platforms, it's the same thing. The more time you spend on these platforms and the more attention you can grab from other people, the platform will prefer that, and they'll publish your content to a lot more people. Why is that, if you're wondering? Well, because the more attention there are, the more people that are watching your content, the more adverts these platforms can play in front of all of these people. Hopefully you're with me here. The more adverts they can play in front of all these people, which makes them a lot more money. So if your content on social media is very boring, it isn't enticing, it doesn't get people to watch for a long time, then people are just going to scroll past it. And every time a person scroll past your content, doesn't interact at all, these social media platforms, trust me, they track everything. They track how long has a person been in your content, have they stopped, how did they get to your content, have they liked, have they commented, have they shared your piece of content, have they saved it. All of these things are very, very important metrics. So when you're going to create your content for social media, if it's just very boring and lackluster, that you kind of record it, you quickly upload it, there's no thought to it, it most likely isn't going to perform very, very well. So if you're thinking, okay, Marcus, I get that, but how should I create the content then? Again, we have an entire online program that teaches specifically about marketing. There are so many things that we cover within marketing, both paid and organic forms of marketing. So I'll just cover one little thing, but within our coaching program, there is literally hours worth of videos on there. But one thing, which is probably perhaps one of the main ones, like when I mentioned, is retention, right? So when you're creating that piece of content, let's just say it's a video, you need to make sure the first 1 to 2 seconds, there's something happens within the video where the person stops scrolling, they freeze on that, and they're watching your piece of content. Okay, so surely you can start to think outside the box on what you could do, what you could show, what you could not show, for example, as well, where it makes the person just stop and go, okay, I want to watch this now. Right? So that's what you should keep in mind of when we're talking about social media content as well. Now, when we're talking about posting content and so on and so as well, the next point is about kind of not using your time and energy in the right places. So what do I mean by that? Just as a really quick, simple example, if you are posting on Reddit and you're posting in the wrong subreddits, there's no point. So whatever you are as a creator, let's just say you are like a gamer girl, right? So you wear your glasses, you wear your headphones, and you have this whole little setup going on as you would be streaming on Twitch and you're playing video games, right? There are specific subreddits for that. And it would make so much more sense if you post content in those than it would be to post in anything else, right? So making sure that when you are posting your content, you are targeting the right audience, and you're also publishing it in the right spaces, right? The next common issue that I see with a lot of creators and agency owners when they come to me and they say, look, we're just not getting enough fans. How can we fix it? And I tend to ask, of course, loads of questions before I give any sort of advice, because I like to analyze exactly what's going wrong, what's going right. And by the way, if you're interested, message me on Instagram at Marcus Hustle. I'll put the link right here, or the @ username. Message me on Instagram, and I'm sure we can chat again. Whether you're an OnlyFans creator or an agency, I'm sure we can help you guys. But one of the biggest things that I always see that no one's really doing when they feel like they're not getting enough fans is reinvesting their money into paid forms of marketing. So everything that I mentioned so far in terms of organic is fantastic, right? Being consistent, having high quality content, posting it in the right subreddits, and so on and so on. It's fantastic. It's free. However, there's only so much you can do throughout the day, right? And eventually you'll get lucky and it'll go viral, and there's certain things you can do to kind of replicate that content to then keep carrying going viral. However, if you have the budget, if you have some money, you should be reinvesting into paid forms of marketing. And there are so many. For example, there are GGs, which literally stand for guaranteed gains. And it's in the name, it's guaranteed. How it works is you'd go to another creator who has, for example, thousands of fans, and you would go to him or her and say, look, I'll pay you X amount of money for X amount of fans. You send them that money, and that creator will keep promoting your OF link until you get the, let's just say, 500 fans. That's why it's called guaranteed gains. And that's one of the surefire ways to massively scale your OF account, but a lot of people don't know about it and they're not really doing it. And again, the same as everything that I've mentioned, for when it comes to guaranteed gains, in our online coaching program and in our private community, we not only teach you exactly how they are and how they work, we can also connect you with the right people to do these GGs with, because there are so many people that are offering it, but some of them are not as effective as others. And then last but not least, I mean, this one, it seems like common sense, but whenever somebody messages me like saying, oh, I don't get enough fans, a lot of the times what I'll do, like I said, I'll ask a bunch of questions, and whilst I'm waiting for the answer, I'll just quickly have a look through their kind of funnel, if you want to call it, right? So their social media to their OF. And a lot of the time it just isn't optimized correctly. I mean, there are so many things that people are making mistakes on that to me it's just crazy. Like, I've genuinely seen this before where the link in a description of Instagram, for example, just doesn't work. So you're doing all this work, you're posting all this content, you're driving all this traffic to a link that literally doesn't work. Or I've seen this, of course, as well. This is another very, very common one where I'll open the OF account, but then there isn't necessarily the right banner. There's no photo. The description isn't enticing at all. There's no reason for somebody to subscribe and so on, right? So you need to make sure you optimize everything. And if you're an agency owner, or again, even if you're a creator watching this, right? Put yourself into your fans' shoes, right? And go through your entire funnel, if you want to call it that, and just look, how does it look? Where could you improve on? What could you change? What could you add, right? And whilst we're talking about funnels, I mean, the way I do it, and you can take some inspiration from it, is I provide a lot of free value, such as this YouTube video, and even we have an entire 1 hour free live training. Again, you can find that in the description of this video. But my whole idea in the funnel is that I provide free value. Whether you want to sign up or anything, yes, we have something to sell, but whether you sign up or not, it doesn't matter. You can take my free value, go ahead and try it for yourself if you really want to, experiment, maybe get some success and make some money. And then once you hit that kind of bottleneck where you can't necessarily scale to the next level, that's when people come back to me and say, hey, look, I got started because of your free content. I'm now at this level. I really want to scale to 50, 100, 150,000 a month. So perhaps, again, if you're an agency owner or a model, it's a little bit different, but try and think of the idea where you provide a lot of value first, and then that's where you can start working on the back end. So if you want that free training, again, that will be the link down below. Other than that, I'll see you guys on the next video.